The women's 4x400m relay at the World Athletics Relays in the Bahamas delivered one of the most impressive team performances of the season. Team USA entered as the favorite, but the field also featured ambitious squads determined to challenge the world's relay powerhouse. What followed was a race filled with tactical battles, national pride, and outstanding individual performances. In this video, we'll break down every leg of the relay, analyze the key exchanges that shaped the outcome, and explain how the United States built such a commanding victory. We'll also take a closer look at Norway's historic national record and the dramatic fight for the remaining top positions.
Any team names earlier on and not on the start line. But USA in this one, Daphne, Alexis Holmes, she's been a regular anchor runner for them at major championships. Obviously, we won't talk about the Femke Bol Alexis Holmes coming together, which will remind you of less impressive Dutch times, but she was, of course, who was the athlete when Femke Bol fell? Well, it was Alexis Holmes. It was the one who was keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, she ran a really good race in that moment because she pushed Femke that much that she fell down. But that's the hardest part of the 400 meters. But she is a very big talent as well.
They were actually disqualified in the world final, the Americans, for a baton infringement in a 4x400 meters, which you don't see that often. You see the likes of Kendall Ellis. In fact, Kendall Ellis ran earlier on. Kinera Hayes in this one, the 2017 World Championship relay gold medalist. Alexis Holmes also in good form this year, 50.24. There's another in-form athlete, that's Henriette Jaeger of Norway, who'll be going on the anchor leg for them. A few final thoughts for Karina Vanessa of Portugal. And their third leg runner, Juliana Guerrero. Mentioned Norway. We've got hurdler Amelie Yule just in the background there in their team as well. Henriette Jaeger, I mentioned she's in good form. She's the number 7 ranked European this year. With her 51-second clocking. And there is from the USA, Asha Robinson, who will go on the third leg for them. So we look at the other athletes that the US have got here. Kendall Ellis we saw earlier on. This is pretty much nearly their strongest available women's quartet from those who were entered anyway. We had Kendall Ellis in. Kinera Hayes, as I say, a World Relay Championship gold medalist from 7 years ago. Raymond Lear standing by on the second leg for them. So the final tickets to Paris to be contested. Only 5 teams in this one, with the withdrawal of Nigeria. Let's just say, by the way, Nigeria, because they don't start today, that also means they can't start tomorrow. So Nigeria, the only way you can't start tomorrow is if you are a DNS today. So Nigeria have passed up, for whatever reason, the chance to have a team in the Olympics, at least for now. We'll see if they qualify through the top lists in terms of their performances. Just having a look, they are number 11 at the moment on that list. They would have a decent chance. It's a potentially injury issue or something that is unclear. On the performances of the teams in the qualification window, Belgium are actually faster than the United States. Belgium ranked 5, the United States ranked 6. And the rest are up in the 20s and 30s in terms of their position in the fastest times posted by relay teams in that Olympic qualifying window at the end of 2022, which will extend through to June. The last 2 teams, in addition to the 4 teams that were picked from that top list. Portugal on the outside then. Norway had given up there for a second, but then eventually Josephine Eriksson appeared in lane 7. Kinera Hayes in 6 leads off the United States. Belgium, they have Naomi Vandenbroek on the first leg. Nigeria were due to be in 4. Not there. And Maria de Sena will lead things off for Brazil. They have the South American number 2, Annie de Bassi, to go on the final leg. On your marks. Five teams chasing 2 spots for the Olympic Games in the last heat of Olympic qualifying round 1 for the women's 4x400 meters.
set.
So we'd expect the USA, even with a couple of their main hitters missing, to be comfortable enough in this heat. Norway with Josephine Eriksson, one from the outside. They're just closing in on Portugal on the outside. Belgium with the USA as a target as well. Naomi van den Broek keeping Kinera Hayes roughly in her sight, so that you can see that Hayes has opened up quite a big gap on Belgium. And Brazil on the inside. Strong first 300 metres from Josephine Eriksson of Norway on the outside. Hayes coming up on her inside as our great shots from overhead show you the gaps before the stagger unwinds after the first bend of the second leg. Norway, USA and Belgium, Van den Broek finishing strongly. And Belgium maybe just got the baton in the hand ahead of Norway on the outside.
But a strong leg from the first one on the Norway, but USA is going now. And Belgium is coming closer, because the first leg was really difficult for Belgium as well, because you saw she was on a very small step, but now she can make it a little bit closer.
So the second leg for the USA, Bailey Lear at the moment in pursuit. Down the back for Belgium is Hannah Kless. And for Norway is their hurdler Amelie Yule. Again, those three are away from the rest here and away from Brazil and from Portugal. That is the complete list of 5. So this one is going to come down to the second half of the race. USA, now Asher Robinson is about to take the baton for them. Belgium, it will go into the hand of Lieve Schoenmaker. And for Norway, it's Astrid Ertsgaard who takes it on. And even just in the last throws of that previous leg, Norway picked up 5 metres or so in the changeover, but Belgium have quickly closed that down. The eyes are on the second and third battle here, definitely.
There's the battle, because you see USA is making a big gap, but it will be a really nice one between Norway and Belgium, because you see they are both relaxed in this moment, so they don't push each other. Just stay relaxed and wait for the last 100 meters. Then at that moment you can push it. But America is doing a really good one, and they have Holmes in the end, so you know that they will do a good job.
Norway starting to exert in second position with Astrid Ertsgaard. USA, their final leg will be Alexis Holmes. But Norway just ahead of Belgium for this final changeover. And this is an all-European battle for that second spot at the moment. Forget about the USA, they are gone, and forget about the ones behind, they aren't catching. It is Norway with Henriette Jaeger in excellent form this year in the early stages of her season, and Belgium have Helena Ponetta on the final leg. Alexis Holmes is running serenely down the back straight. They have trimmed the gap slightly to Alexis Holmes. They're not going to catch her, but it's Norway still holding the advantage, definitely.
Yeah, but see Holmes, she looks like running in a park or something like that. It looks really relaxed, but this one is really nice in the last 100 meters between Belgium and Norway. Belgium is coming.
Norway at the moment, Belgium switching up the inside here. Helena Potter's seen a bit of room. Can she get there? Alexis Holmes sends the USA to the Olympics, and Henriette Jaeger is going to hang on for Norway. And Norway will book their place at the Olympic Games. What a brilliant performance from that quartet. Norway have never qualified for the Olympic Games in the women's 4x400 until now, and that's what it means.
They are so happy. It's so cool to watch that, but it was a really good race. National record as well. Wow.
Norway sent 4 athletes to the Bahamas, and they are currently lying on the track, hugging. There we go. And the first Norwegian Olympians in history in the women's 4x400 metres as a result of that national record. The USA got the job done really effectively. As you said, Alexis Holmes looked like she was having a jog down the beach here in the Bahamas. But again, times don't matter today. Save a bit in your legs, because there's $40,000 of prize money tomorrow as well, so you might as well contest that as well if your top 2 spot is secure. But these are some of the stories that we would expect, the smiles on the faces, some of the surprise packages. Norway upsetting Belgium. So let's look back at some of the key moments here. So you can see it was very tight between Belgium and Norway. Norway always had that advantage by a few metres, and that never changed as we see Robinson to Holmes.
It must be so difficult when you stand here, you want to go, but you need to wait because they have a lot of lactic, so you need to wait till the end when she's coming close and go, because I think you are too excited to go, so you need some time.
Well, Alexis Holmes saving plenty in her legs there to get the USA across the line, but we just saw Jaeger, I don't know if she was drifting out, thinking she was trying to make it more difficult for Ponetta to have to run around her, but she actually left enough of a gap up the inside that if Ponetta had the legs, she could have snuck through.
Yeah, but you see her in her legs, she's still relaxed. Of course, she had the lactic, but she's still pushing and pushing and pushing just to the finish line. The Belgian girl was doing the same, but she, was a little bit more tired, I guess.
Well, step by step there, Henriette Jaeger knew she was getting closer to making a bit of Norwegian history. And she and her teammates, Josephine Eriksson, Emily Yule and Astrid Erdsgaard, have done exactly that as they take the second spot behind the USA.
As soon as the gun fired, it became clear that Team USA had arrived in the Bahamas not just to win, but to remind the entire athletics world why they remain the gold standard in the women's 4x400m relay. From the very first meters, the Americans looked composed and completely in control. There was no panic, no reckless sprinting early on. Their strategy was simple but incredibly effective: stay relaxed, control the race, and gradually apply pressure until the rest of the field was forced to chase. This is where great relay teams separate themselves from everyone else. A relay is about far more than raw speed. It's about trust, chemistry, flawless baton exchanges, and the ability to execute under immense pressure. Today, Team USA delivered a masterclass in every aspect of relay racing. With each passing leg, the gap continued to grow. The baton exchanges were smooth and efficient, allowing every runner to maintain momentum without sacrificing precious time. While other teams battled for position and searched for opportunities to attack, the Americans simply kept raising the standard, but while the fight for victory quickly began to fade, an entirely different battle was unfolding behind the leaders. Norway and Belgium were locked in a thrilling showdown, fighting for one of the most important results in their recent relay history. Norway, in particular, was the surprise story of the race. A team that few people considered a major contender before the season showed incredible discipline, confidence, and tactical awareness. Every athlete executed her role perfectly, refusing to let the pressure of the occasion affect her performance. By the time the race reached the final leg, it was clear that Norway was on the verge of something special. However, the toughest challenge was still ahead. Belgium was charging hard from behind, ready to capitalize on even the smallest mistake. The final 400 meters became a true test of character. With fatigue building and the pressure increasing every second, the Norwegian anchor stayed calm, maintained her form, and continued driving toward the finish line. Meter by meter, Belgium closed the gap, but Norway refused to break. When it mattered most, they held their nerve, crossed the line in second place, and secured a historic national record along with the country's first ever Olympic qualification in the women's 4x400m relay. Yet despite Norway's remarkable achievement, the biggest statement of the day still belonged to the United States. What makes Team USA so difficult to beat isn't just individual talent. It's the extraordinary depth of the program. Year after year, America continues to produce world-class quarter-milers capable of performing on the biggest stages in the sport. That depth creates relentless internal competition, and the result is exactly what we witness today, for athletes executing their roles with precision, confidence, and complete control. Speed matters. Technique matters. Experience matters. But when all of those elements come together with unmatched depth and preparation, the result is what we saw in the Bahamas today, another dominant performance from the undisputed powerhouse of the women's 4x400m relay.